What I always remember in Father Panditharatne is his tremendous humility and the simplicity of a man with such a large brain.
When he read his book, he has pen, black, blue, green, all kind of different color. Going on, underline it and write in notes. So when we look at his book, we find his note, more his note than what is printed in the book.
Father Harold didn't teach us what to think. He taught us all how to think.
And even in Rome I was told that he was considered or referred as the philosopher.
What I saw in Father Panditharatne's life was a very simple and humble person, although he was an intellectual.
Persons are gifts from God. All of them are gifts, but they are all different. Each is unique and unrepeatable. Reverend Father Harold Peter Francis Panditharatne was a special kind of a gift that God has given to the world. He is one of the greatest philosophers ever produced by the Sri Lankan Catholic Church. He is today widely celebrated as a priest with super intelligence.
It is very interesting to see how many times he has underlined the books he had and cross-references made. If the author has contradicted certain things in his writing, he has made the reference to it with pages. The Problem of Philosophy, written by Bertrand Russell, is one of the classics in analytic philosophy. And he gave that book to me, and it's like a picture now, because about at least 10 to 15 times he must have underlined and given the cross-references. So he was reading profusely, very much, and not only that, he is absorbing all that, and he was to give that in a very simplified form.
Father Harold was not only a man of mind, but a man of heart as well.
Then when it comes to have contact with him, you can always have access to him. You can go at any time. And then he will speak, we can speak to him very openly. He doesn't talk much during our conversation, but he will listen very carefully. Only a few words, but more time is given to listening. And then if there is any difficulty or problems, it will be solved.
His understanding and the concern are well illustrated by the life experiences of his students.
When I was a dean, I remember he used to call and ask sometimes, why are these things happening in the community? And when I explained to him, Father, it is this and that, he would say, okay brother, I trust you. Go and do what is right. And then we had to speak to the students. I as a dean, with the students, I say, yes, we must do the right thing. Not to satisfy the rector, but as genuine brothers who search for truth.
Father Harold was the second son of a family of 7, 6 boys and 1 girl. His family lived in his mother's ancestral home, which is 100 yards away from the Pitipana church.
Father Harold is my elder brother. Not the first brother is the doctor. Second was priest. From all days, whenever he had a study problem at home, he was the person to. Hard on us, sometimes he put study knocks on our head also. You don't understand. And also he was a white sportsman, very fine aim here with the bullet. Shotgun, not a shotgun, the pellets. He used to shoot birds and cockroaches and all, and also very good swimmer. In the sea, he was not afraid to jump and swim. So, short man, maybe about 5 feet or 3 inches or more. So he combined that also recreational activities.
A real thinker is not satisfied until he gets at the core of the truth. His passion to search for truth was not disturbed by his outer appearance. In fact, he was mocked and humiliated because of how he looked in his younger days.
He was known as Kurman Moria in the school because the way he was dressed up and all these things. But then he was laughing. He one day even he used to fight with various students, and one day he had a war with the son of a police officer, and he ran home. Then he knew it was trouble, and finally the mother rode the child who was in Mary's and then put him onto an Anglican school in Maharashtra. From there, he started the later also as St. Joseph's College, Fairview, and then the strangest thing is that writer, and that mischievous boy, how he became such a brilliant intellectual.
He was a student in Propaganda College in Rome, and there he was considered an excellent student and possibly one of the brightest that passed through the Propaganda Seminary. So he was reckoned as one of the best in Sri Lankan students.
As Father Harold returned from Rome with his doctorates, he was appointed to the tutorial staff of St. Peter's College, Colombo. But what really made him to go back to England with a frustrated heart?
Then I came to know him personally as he returned from Rome and was appointed as a staff member of St. Peter's College, Bambalapitiya. Now this man came back with a lot of doctorates and so on, and then of course he was assigned to work as an ordinary teacher, and most of the time he was teaching religion in classes, say from grade 5 upwards. Now there was a little bit of a problem at that time, you may be knowing it, where he was somehow a little disturbed, and then he was not in Sri Lanka for a while but was in England. At that time, Bishop Edmund Fernando, who happens to be one of his co-parishioners, in other words, both of them are from the same parish of Pitipana, he contacted him, and Father Panditharatne returned to Sri Lanka and wanted to start a new life. And that really was something remarkable and admirable, because all of us knew that this is a genius, and for a man of that nature to be so humble as to come back and meet each one of us and say, I have made a mistake in life, but I am now going to correct it. That was something really remarkable. And then when considered us at that time, we were the most junior priests of the diocese. But I remember him meeting me and telling me, now please don't make this mistake that I made in your life.
And then a part of his diary, he has started but not finished, unfortunately. And talking about his childhood and also that crisis period. There he has mentioned very clearly. It was, he has even while praying to the Lord, and particularly to Our Lady, asking for guidance, that own lady. And I am going through this sort of, struggle to understand things in life. And here you can see the heart of the man and the faith of the man. There is not a matter of losing faith or anything, but it's a matter of searching for even deeper faith, I would say. Now this aspect I was able to see and read and come to know, because I was able to read to them, even my opinion or what I have heard from others is very different.
Father Harold was a teacher, and he was a very good teacher. What he taught us was logic, and that was unforgettable. He didn't teach in an orthodox manner, which was good. He basically talked and he wrote on the board. But the only intermission you would have is when he stepped outside for smoke, because he was a chain smoker. So he would go outside and he would smoke, and then he would come back with that sort of unruly hair and his gentle smile and resume his class.
Father Panditharatne's brother, Lionel Panditharatne, was the Vice Chancellor of Peradeniya University. So they want to invite this famous man. They have heard about Father Panditharatne. They want to invite him to give a talk at the Philosophy Union. So when Father Panditharatne went, the hall was full. There's not a single seat, even some even outside. They want to listen to this great philosopher. So Father Panditharatne, in his very simple way, he's a very simple person, also great philosopher. So he has gone, after welcoming him, he has drawn a mango in the blackboard. Then others are looking at what he's going to do. Then he has cut it means in the blackboard, he has drawn two half, then like that. Then he has cut in a different way, same mango he cut in different way. Then again another way. So he's going on drawing, like cutting the mango, the different pictures in the blackboard. Now students, they were little restless. and they were shouting and whistling and like that. Father Panditharatne in his own way, there is a person like that, he was going on, cutting this. Now almost whole blackboard full of the way that mango, the cut pieces of the mango. Now situation has become so worse, could not control, they were all shouting, hooting and whistling and big hullabaloo, nobody could control. Father Panditharatne now very calm. But others are thinking, what kind of fool they have invited to give a talk here, and he is going on cutting a mango. Then he has turned to the audience, and has waited till others become silent for about 4-5 minutes. Then at last the audience was silent. He has said, my dear friend, this is philosophy. So what we are doing in philosophy? From Thales until now, we are analyzing a man about his origin, about his life, about his death. The same thing we are doing. There's no different person. Like mango is the same always, the man is the same. So it's going on, analyzing the same person in different way until now. When Bertrand Russell or myself or all these people are analyzing. There's nothing. Give different ideas. So philosophy, what we are doing in philosophy is that analyzing man's origin and state and this but his nature.
Father Harold, in spite of his exceptional academic brilliance, maintained a childlike simplicity, ready to serve Holy Mother of the Church in any capacity with an unquestioning obedience and submission to God. Today, as we pay tribute to him, we also aspire to follow the path he once trod. May the Almighty God, who can adequately reward Reverend Father Harold Panditharatne for such devoted service, give him eternal rest for his silent and painstaking labor now and always.
He was a chain smoker. The students used to tell him after lecture, before all your thing. So that affected his health very badly. In fact, he got cancer in the lungs and he died. He was buried in our church. You will see on one side, so there is there. And father at that time must have been a student office. He did all what is necessary. And all the Archbishop, all lots of priests came from the seminary, attended his funeral. I wish he lived long because he was immortal.
I had the opportunity to see him few hours before his death. Because I was in Colombo that time, and then he called me and said he wished to meet the Archbishop. Then I told the Archbishop that Father Panditharatne wants to see you. The Archbishop said I was there in the morning, but Your Grace, he wants to see you. He went and saw. After a few hours, after meeting the Archbishop, after a few hours, he had a peaceful death. And then, of course, he is fondly remembered by all his students.
Even in the calendarium under the history of the National Seminary, it is mentioned that he has a lot to do in obtaining the affiliation from the Urban University for our philosophy department. So in connection to that, about 4 years back when we had this discussion about the third year of philosophy, the Urban University in a way proposed that if you want to have the degree, BPH degree, that we were to go for 3 years. Then there were so many ideas about that, and even our superiors, they were not that willing, because we have to give extra year for that. One main idea, rather one main proposition was that Father Panditharatne had been working very hard to get that affiliation. At the same time, it was because of his fame that the Urban University in a way granted us the affiliation. So most of the fathers who knew history and all that, they said we should not lose our affiliation, at least because of Father Panditharatne, as honor to him. So that was a main factor that where we wanted to, in a way, retain this affiliation and go for the 3rd year. So, all pay their tribute and honor and respect to Father Panditharatne. So our 3rd year mostly is a tribute to him.